Alright, well, hello, my name is Chris. I just recently bought a 92 Toyota pickup. And I'm going to make this into a project. It's going to be something exciting, something I'm looking forward to. I got this truck for really cheap from a good friend of mine. It was having really bad problems. I assumed it was a head gasket, but once I started taking it apart, it was not a head gasket. The head gasket was actually pretty good. What had actually happened is that this is a chain-driven motor, and it uses a chain to drive the crank to the camshaft, and that's instead of using a timing belt like other motors would. So what had happened, that chain, to have tension on there, it needs guides, and the guides that it has right now is they're plastic. One of those plastic guides broke. I'm assuming just heat, cold, and over time they just break. There are better options out there. There is metal ones that I highly recommend for just a little bit more, maybe $20 more. You could get metal ones, which definitely are a better quality part over the plastic OEM ones. So what happened is, this is the front section of the motor. This is where your oil pump is at, and this is where your water pump is at. There's a coolant passage in here, and since those guides broke, the chain started biting into this cover and into the coolant passage, and that let coolant into the oil. So that's why when I pulled the dipstick, the oil looked really milky. It looks like really thick chocolate milk. It smells horrible. You should not smell it. It's pretty bad. So I thought it was head gasket, because the most common thing that would happen to a motor is head gasket. Head gasket almost all the time equals, chocolate milk oil. So that's what I thought happened. I started taking everything apart, and that was not what had happened. This is what actually happened. So head gasket was healthy, the motor's still healthy. Other than that, the owner told me that it doesn't run that great, and I'm pretty sure it's a combination between the oil being so thick and also the chain not having enough tension, so the timing got retarded, and then the timing was off, so it ran like crap. These are all the parts that I have gotten over time the last few weeks. I'm trying to rebuild this motor. My plans for this is actually build this motor. This is probably going to be a temporary issue, but I just wanted to go through the whole build process, rebuilding this motor, making it reliable. My plans are to get suspension, lift it, big tires, a different swap, just completely change everything and go off-roading with this, have fun. It's going to be a little toy project, so I just wanted to bring you guys along on this adventure. So this is the timing cover. It's a little dirty, but I got a new one already. This is where the water pump sits, and this is where the oil pump sits. If you flip it over, this is where the timing chain sits in here, just like this. Here's the sprocket for the crankshaft, here's the camshaft one, and it goes in here. There's timing guides here, or timing chain guides here, that go here just to keep tension on the chain, so you could time it properly. One of these broke. The one on this side broke off. This one was still working fine. It was still together. It was in the verge of cracking and almost going out also, but what had happened is that since this one broke, the timing chain got moved to the side, and then it started biting into the timing cover. Since the water pump does go up here, it started biting into this passage in here, and eventually it cracked it right there. So it cracked it in there. I don't know if you guys can see that. And that's where it started spewing out all the coolant. This, from here, it's a straight shot into the oil pan, so all this coolant started going into the oil pan, started mixing. The oil pump started pushing all that gunkiness everywhere, and it was just a bad day. So this is my block right now. It's a little dirty, and I definitely need to clean it up. It's definitely really gunky. The pistons don't look so bad. The walls don't look bad either, which I'm kind of surprised. I just need to clean it out, hone it a little bit just to clean up the cylinder walls and clean up the pistons. Other than that, it's a pretty solid block. It's bulletproof. I took off the head and I sent it out to the machine shop, and since he did overheat it a bit, and the mileage that it has, it just warped just enough for past its service life. so I had to go buy a new head, which I'll show you. Oh, and that's my Grom. Oh, and this is my dog Maya. It's my baby. Oh. So the things that I've done so far with the truck is we swapped out the motor. We've also taken apart the motor. I took off the head already. That was a pain in the ass. For whatever reason, the head bolts were stuck and they would not come off. I have no idea why, but we had to. It's my dog. What we had to do is like actually cut the head bolts off. I don't know why it wasn't coming off. I've never seen that happen. I'll show you guys. So we've taken it apart. I put it up onto the engine stand. I started taking off everything. Everything is completely off. It's just a bare black crank, pistons. That's about it. Other than that, I bought a lot of parts. I've cleaned a lot of the parts, which I want to have my engine go back and really clean. The engine base is going to be all cleaned up. The car is at a friend's house just because I don't have space here. So yeah, this is a clutch that I got. It's just a random clutch that I got from Amazon. Nothing crazy, nothing. It was like $90, $100. It wasn't bad at all. I just want to get the truck running. It's just single stage OEM equivalent organic clutch. Nothing too crazy. It wasn't even. Look at the wrapping. So it's nothing crazy. At least not now. It's just I'm trying to save up so I could get ready for the swap. Maybe sometime in the next few months, next year maybe. I got this from Amazon. If I didn't mention, it's just a random place. Oh damn. So pilot bearing, throw-out bearing, just the essentials, clutch tool, clutch lining tool, what is this? Clutch cover. Clutch cover. I think the kit that I ordered also included a flywheel. I think this is the flywheel. Yep. So just OEM equivalent flywheel. Nothing too crazy. Just trying to get the truck running. Other things that I bought. I think this is also from Amazon, package kit that I got. Also, this is just OEM equivalent water pump. The thing that I did like about this is that it does bring studs just for your fan, because it's where you stick it on there. I did save them just in case, but it's nice that they give you studs or extra parts. Timing cover, a new timing cover, just because I don't want obviously that cracked one, so nice and new. This also came with the Amazon package. I think that package comes with the chain, guides, water pump, oil pump, so timing cover, and I'm pretty sure with all the gaskets. This is the oil pump, brand new oil pumps, just OEM equivalent. And then, high temp gray. Oh, this is nice that they add this. So some RTV, some gray RTV, the timing chain, and the guides. Comes with all the gaskets. Oh, the timing tensioner. Let me open this for you guys. So this goes on the block, and this is what actually pushes out the guide so you could get some tension on there. So that's nice. I didn't even know this was included. Looks like a crank seal in this sprocket. New camshaft, new timing chain, and the new metal guides. This was about, I think, like $110. The clutch, or actually I think this was like about $90. The clutch kit was about $110. It's not a lot. Parts are relatively cheap. If your motor is already taken apart just like how mine is, I do recommend you getting a fuel pump filter, the brand new one, because it's inside the intake manifold and it's a pain to get to, it's a pain to remove, it's a mess. So I got a new one from the Yoda shop. It's actually a really good shop. I've been buying a handful of parts from there already. I actually bought the head from there and I haven't opened it because it just showed up not too long ago. So it's pretty cool. It's just OE equivalent. The other thing that I did buy too is a new 22RE sticker for the valve cover. Also it came with 4 brass O-rings. The Yoda shop, I definitely recommend it if you guys have a 22 or just an older model Toyota. They have pretty good parts. I have not a problem with them. They're actually pretty fast shipping. I'm located in San Diego. They're up in Washington somewhere, but it's pretty fast shipping. This is my head and I just barely got it a few days ago. I haven't opened it. This was $300 and I think the shipping on it automatically is $25 just because it's heavy. It's maybe a good 25 pounds. It's alright, it has a good amount of weight, but I haven't opened this, so I'm excited to see how this thing looks. Alright, so it's styrofoam. So this is the head that I got from Yoda shop. It's actually packaged pretty good. It's all styrofoam and everything. Overall, I'm really impressed with like how everything got packaged up. It looks pretty good. This is just little trash. Yeah, new valves, new springs, new camshaft, new head, new seals in there. Everything looks pretty good. I'm impressed with the quality. Let's pull this thing out of the box. So that's how the bottom of the head looks like. Everything's pretty clean. There is just oil residue, I'm pretty sure, so it doesn't rust. But there is some oil residue. It's actually pretty nice. Like the quality is, I'm actually kind of impressed. Everything looks really good. The one thing that I hear about a lot of 22RE owners is that you know your head is bad when you take it off and you try to free spin the cam. So obviously, look at this, like with almost no resistance, it just spins freely. The head that I did have, it kind of did have a bit of a trouble spinning, but it wasn't too bad. I was still able to spin it with my hand, but this is way before I drop it. So that was the head that I ordered from the Yoda shop. It's pretty good quality. I guess we'll see how it actually works out once I actually put it on the motor. These are the rest of the parts from the motor. I went ahead and cleaned them up because it was really gunky. It was really bad actually. So all these are really nice. A lot of these were covered in just gunk. It was really bad, and I thought a lot of these parts were black actually. But come to find out, a lot of these parts are actually silver, which I was completely shocked. So these are like, for example, coolant passages. Like I cleaned a lot of these up. Coolant passages, like they look really nice. I spent like a good 2 hours trying to clean these up just because I want these things to go in. They're really clean. So everything's all cleaned up. The neck is as much as I can clean it up. So the other thing that I like to do, distributor. The other thing I like to do, and one thing that I do recommend a lot of you guys do, is just being organized. Taking these things apart, sometimes you take them apart and then you come back to them a few days later. A lot of things could go missing, things get like scattered everywhere, and that's one of the things that I kind of dread and I hate, especially when people start working on cars and they do that. So what I like to do is put everything in bags and title it. So like these are flywheel bolts, all of them. Like once I go to install that flywheel, I just pick this up and take it to my truck and we're good to go. motor mounts, passenger side, motor mount bolts. So everything is like organized. Anybody could come up and grab it and basically put it together. EGR header bolts, so that's for the EGR system. Clutch pressure plate bolts, and I've seen people put them all in a bucket. Yeah, if that works for you, great, you know, but that doesn't really work for me, so this is what I do. The other thing is that I like to put everything in like a bin like this too, so nothing's scattered around, nothing gets damaged, everything's, you know, good. So then you could just move around all the parts. If you need to, for example, me, I need to take all these parts back to my friend's house so I can put it all together. All I need to do is take these, a few boxes, and we're good to go. This is just what I recommend people do. You obviously don't have to follow what I say, but this has definitely been working for me for the past couple of years. So everything's pretty clean. That's how I like to keep it. Just the other thing that I like to do is, for example, also take pictures. So when I'm taking everything apart and there's too many things like taking apart, I like to take pictures. I like to make sure that everything's like put back to where it used to be, like as if I never pulled out the motor or as I never took anything apart. Or even, for example, how OEM or just, you know, the manufacturer put it together. So that's one of the things that I like to do. The other thing, if like there's a lot of vacuum lines, like the intake on this has like maybe like 40-30 different vacuum lines, I like to take videos. So I like to follow the hose all the way back to from start to finish, just so once I start taking everything apart, I know I can put it back together following the videos that I have. So I have that on my phone, take pictures. If you have a good camera, take pictures, take videos. That helps a lot with just being organized, because then if you're trying to put all those hoses and you put one in the wrong place, it's gonna be hard to find out like what's going on with the motor. You're gonna have vacuum problems, you're gonna have idling problems, you're gonna have a lot of different problems that could have been resolved with just taking a 10-second video, 15-second. It doesn't take that long, just following from start to finish and you're good to go. That's basically it. That's all the parts that I have, all the parts that I've bought so far. It's gonna be a pretty nice build. I look forward to making more things, more content.